Scott Martin, Jack Howe, Ashley Webster, all with me. Now this, premise. Wages are rising, confidence is way up, the jobs picture is very solid. I therefore say that this is going to be one very strong holiday quarter. Jack, to you first. Do you agree?
The economy looks good. Is the stock market going to crash on Wednesday because the president keeps going around and telling everyone that if Democrats win, the market is doomed? I mean, the pollsters show an 85% chance that Democrats take the House. Now, maybe they're wrong. Democrats sometimes find a way to lose at the last minute. But if they're right and that happens, is there a possibility that this could become self-fulfilling prophecy where people sell their stocks because the president said it was going to happen? I don't think so, and I hope not, but I wish he would stop going around telling people that you can use political parties to predict market returns.
Scott Martin, my premise is it's going to be an extremely strong holiday season. For the economy, I'm talking about, strictly speaking here. What do you say?
I agree with you. I think that's some good hope out there. But Jack's right. You know, does this translate into a good market environment? And, you know, even elections aside, Stuart, you know, a meeting, the G20 meeting with China, President Xi, that may not go well, just other political things that could happen that are out there. I mean, there's a lot of other things that could happen to this market that are going to be, aside from the good economic situation that you're describing, which I agree with, that could change the market's landscape. So I think it's just something to keep in mind if you're an investor here. Yes, the economy could be good in Q4, but that doesn't mean that stocks are going to come roaring back.
Okay.
Yeah, but one of the traders said, when I was down on the floor this week, he said, you know, I've never seen a market that has so many headwinds lurking out there, a gazillion reasons why the market go down, that the volatility in respect to that is not as bad as everyone is making it out.
I'll tell you one number to watch very carefully. We're expected to get 10% earnings growth next year. Now, it's nothing close to what we had this year, but it's still darn good.
Yeah.
If we actually get 10%, that will be another leg up for stocks. If we revert to the pattern that we had before this year, where those estimates come down going into next year, that might not be so great.
Okay, I consider myself put down. It's not going to be a great holiday season. Oh, no, it's going to be awful. No prosperity this Christmas and Hanukkah. Oh, no, can't have that. Okay, let's move on. Big tech names, talk about them every day, slammed last month. Come on in, Scott. Was October the bottom for big tech?
It looks like it. I'll try to rescue your attitude here by saying I think that the bottom is somewhat in for tech here. But there's probably still some volatility ahead. I think we saw a lot of, let's say, market behavior psychologically, Stuart, that would be reminiscent of a bottom. But we do need to see some good news, too. You know, we got Apple out after the bell today for earnings. We need to see that come through. I think Facebook needs to follow through on some of their good numbers. So, yes, I think the bottom's in for the short term for tech, but they need to kind of start stepping up again.
Jeez, I've never heard so many lukewarm
commentators.
Come on, it's exciting. Prosperity.
Oh, it's going to be great, Stu. People are going to spend like drunken sailors throughout the whole month of December.
Come back tomorrow. I want to see more of you. Thank you very much. All right. Apple, as we said, reports after the bell this afternoon. This is a very big deal when Apple reports its numbers. So, but Jack, you say do not be obsessed with the number of iPhones sold.
I mean, I don't want to overstate the case. This company is still quite reliant on iPhones. But in the past, you had to obsess over whether it hit its target for each quarter. And what you're seeing now is rising revenue from services. That's high-margin revenue. That's people buying apps and renting movies and buying these service plans on their phones because the phones are so expensive they desperately don't want to drop them and break them without a service plan. That stuff is high margin revenue, and it's serving to make Apple's earnings smoother over time. So not quite as much hinges on every last
Although,
increment.
Having said that, Jack, I think their prediction for the holiday season, a lot of people will look at that as well.
Yes.
That's critical.
And if I am right about
then it's
the
going to be
holiday
great.
season, it's going to be great. Thank you very much. Look at the big board, please. Why not? Let's get positive. We're up 140 points. The Dow's at 25,258. Price of oil, no big impact on the stock market. Interesting, though, sanctions on Iranian oil begin November the 5th. Yeah. We had run up the price in advance of those sanctions. Now it's run all the way back down to $65 a barrel. And the price of gasoline keeps on falling. Look at this. Excellent. 22 straight days gone down. Now we're at $2.79 as the national average. A couple of individual stocks. Good. Dow DuPont's profit fell on higher costs. There must be something else in that report because it's up 7%. I'll look for you, I promise. Fitbit posts its first profit in 2 years. and it's up 20%. We'll take it.
88 cents.
88 cents, okay. We were downer on this one.
I just want to say.
Lukewarm sales at Spotify. What does that do for Spotify? Lukewarm sales, it hurts them. Down 7%. That's $11 lower, Spotify. Now, here's an intriguing story. General Motors. They're offering buyouts, early retirement, big packages to 18,000 salaried workers. That's a huge chunk of the salaried management workforce. I would have thought that would be good for the stock, but it's down.
Yeah, well, this is the number of people they're offering them to. It doesn't mean you'll get that many. We'll see how many you end up with. But this
if they don't take it, they're going to have layoffs. That's what they say.
This seems like a proactive. This is a proactive approach to scale down production of low-margin vehicles and focus on what makes money while investing in the future, electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles. I think that, honestly, I think the next thing that will be good for GM stock is the next recession we have, because people are used to GM falling into deep losses during recessions. They're going to be very surprised when the next recession comes around and GM continues making profits through the recession. Then the stock gets re-rated higher.
And it's still only around $35 a share. It really hasn't moved that much. Elon Musk tweeting that Tesla cars will be able to find a parking spot on their own by next year. I'm going to just go through this again. Make sure.
All right.
It's amazing. You drive one of these Tesla cars, you pull up to the office, you get out and go to work, you leave the car there, press a button, the car goes off, pootles around by itself, finds a parking space, parks, you come out of work later, press the button, and the car miraculously comes back to you right outside your building. What am I missing? Does that sound good or impossible, Scott? Which is it?
I love it. I mean, especially living in a city like Chicago and, coming to New York often. I mean, parking is like the most stressful thing that happens to me when I'm there. So, yeah, that's great. It would also help my wife, too, which I probably shouldn't have just said, but it will help her. Here's the thing, though. Elon Musk has created a lot of problems for this stock, so I get the cars can park themselves. He's got to find a place to park his bad attitude.
It's the next year part of it that's a problem. It's not going to happen next year, no matter what he says. Ultimately, it will happen. Cars will park themselves. Here in New York, they'll probably double park themselves and yell at pedestrians themselves or whatever. Eventually, all this will happen. It's not going to happen next year.
That's how they'll blend in, Jack.
Yeah, but here's the problem. A little fly in the ointment, if you like, is that it's illegal right now to have no one in a car. So you can't just get out and push a button because the law doesn't allow you to do that. You can have autonomous where there's someone in the car that monitors it, but as it stands right now, you can't have no one in the car and let it go park itself.
Apart from which, if you pull up to 6th Avenue in New York City, outside Fox, and you send your little car off to park itself, it might never come back because you're not going to find a parking space in New York City at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning.
It's not going to park in the Bronx.
You can park in the Bronx. All right, let's get to CVS, an intriguing plan here, a membership program. You pay $5 a month, and that gets you $10 worth of store credit, plus a few perks. Now, Scott, you got to like this one.
Well, I mean, I like it, I guess, if I'm a CVS stockholder, because they're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart or in the holiday spirit. They're doing it because probably people won't use the benefit. I mean, we're coming up to a very favorite time of year for me, Stuart, and I know you're excited, too, from your comments. We got $1 billion or so of gift cards that are going to go unused over the holiday season. So I'm guessing they're doing this to take advantage of that trend.
What do you got, Ash?
This is all about Amazon. Amazon just about to get into the pharmacy business, and they're trying desperately to come up with something to fend them off.
This is a great idea. Yeah, it's Amazon Prime for a store that no one likes to shop at. The only reason you're shopping at CVS these days is because you're desperate for something like a camera battery, and you can't wait 2 days to get it from it. It's become like the roadside breakdown garage that you go in there if you have to, because everything's 3 times the cost of what it should be.
You're totally wrong. I'm a frequent CVS shopper.
Too.
Well, I got good news for you.
You know how they could save money is stop giving you these 10 feet long receipts when you buy like 3 items. It's ridiculous.
I know how you can save $10. New CVS rewards
for
program.
Shopping bags.
You're making money here.
You're all totally wrong. CVS membership plan, I like it.
You like it?
Not that I'll get it, but I like it. All right. It's that time. That will be 9:40 Eastern Time on a Thursday morning. Thanks very much indeed, Scott and Jack. We'll see you all again later. Check the big board. Not